Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to speak to you today. Diving into the second season of Surface. Your character, what was your approach to playing him? Because I guess he's got this sort of double side that he has to play. He's both an ally to Sophie and understanding her past, but also working to take down the Huntleys. So
Yeah.
what was your approach in that sense?
It's just you want to dive straight into a script like this, don't you? He's such a dynamic character and he's so driven and ambitious, but he's also very worn out and tired. I think when you first meet him, he's very exacerbated and fed up. It's a really tough job. You have to be relentless to get a story made, particularly against powerful people that don't want it to come out. So it was very fun to sort of just kind of meet Callum's energy and his ambition and drive and get to play that. And working with Gugu and collaborating with her. Obviously, most of my scenes are with her, and so we had a great dynamic because it's a real dance the two characters have. They're sort of allies of each other. They're working with each other, but Callum's in a place where he wouldn't be good at his job if he trusted everything that everyone said. I mean, he has to maybe be a little bit guarded, as is Gugu's character. So, yeah, there's that brilliant dance the two characters have throughout the show, and their relationship grows and evolves and changes and shifts, and that's such a fun thing to get to play as an actor.
And I was reading that Veronica even was saying, maybe can kind of see him as a bit of a Ronan Farrow type of character. Were you kind of looking at real life investigative journalists and trying to sort of channel a bit of their energy, the work they do, how they kind of carry themselves? Did you start from that point?
Definitely, yeah. There's one that came to mind most as well as Nick Davies, who broke a lot of that phone hacking scandal as well. And just how, again, relentless you have to be. It's a long, long time before you actually get a story published, and you have to be so fastidious, and you maybe become a bit of a lone wolf as well. And I think investigative journalists specifically, they have to maybe have this edge to them that's different to other kinds of journalists. Reading a lot of books by journalists about the stories that they broke, I think I kind of picked up on a lot of that atmosphere and the edge that you kind of have, and you have to be a bit fearless because it's a scary job,
And something that's really great about the series is I think there's no real clear villains necessarily. There's a lot of moral ambiguity. Where do you think that Callum would see himself along that spectrum? I guess he would always think that he's doing everything for the greater good. But of course, sometimes the tactics that one has to employ might not be, on the straight and narrow. So how do you think he would see himself on that spectrum?
It's true. And there's a film noir quality almost to the detective that sort of kind of has to break the law a bit in order to catch the guy, because you see his one of his stories be dropped by his editor after a bit of pressure, and there's these, he realizes that in order to take on a family like the Huntleys, they're going to fight dirty, and so there are times when Callum's got to do the same. So I think it's the best thing about the show. It'd be very easy to just make the very powerful family a bunch of bad guys that nobody can relate to or like. But actually, there's a warmth to them as well, and there's a nuance to their characters, and you can find them very sympathetic at times. The way in which sometimes you'll find Callum sympathetic, but maybe Callum might go too far at times. That's up to the audience to decide, I suppose. But yeah, that was the big takeaway when I read the script. It was like, I love that you can feel for every character. You mightn't agree with what they do maybe, but you can understand perhaps why they're doing what they're doing.
And I think, that's what the appeal of shows like this can be, because obviously on the one level, you sort of really, pulled along by the kind of the taut psychological thriller aspects. But, it is really poking at some of those things that we have in our society about wealth and privilege and class, and especially with social media, you can kind of feel like these lives are sort of perfect in a way. And so maybe sort of digging beneath the surface of that is also something that can be very intoxicating and interesting. So do you think that's also part of it too?
Oh, massively, massively. And I think we have more and more of an obsession these days with the ultra elite and the billionaire class that I feel are becoming even more and more separated from the rest of society. And that's why particularly obviously Callum is so driven to sort of pull that curtain down and actually shine a light on those people. And I think this show you get to see the faults and the cracks in the kind of in their so-called perfect world.
And you said about working with Gugu, maybe you could just say a few more words. I mean, she's just endlessly watchable, and she's constantly managing to walk that fine line between obviously having to play a bit of a performance, but there's so much going on underneath while she's trying to search for her own real identity, which obviously, you know, she's everyone seems to know more than she does about herself. So what was it like seeing that performance come to life?
Incredible. It's an immense performance, and such a lovely turn from season 1, where she maybe is on the back foot and now she goes to being on the front foot. She goes from kind of being the hunted to the hunter, and she's in pursuit now of people, and she's got her kind of target in her sights. But to play that while also having that kind of warmth to her character, it's such a hard thing to root for the lead actor when they have to do things that are, you know, difficult and shady perhaps. And so she just does it with such ease. I mean, she was a joy to work with. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm out of time, unfortunately, but thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Can't wait for everyone else to see the second season of Surface. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank you.